Born in Rock, Germany in 1844, Friedrich Nietzsche was the son of Franziska Euler and Karl Ludwig Nietzsche. The son of a Lutheran minister, Friedrich's upbringing was largely influenced by his father until his untimely death when a young Nietzsche was only 5 years old. A brilliant student, Nietzsche was made the University of Basel's professor of philology, the study of languages. At the age of 24, however, due to increasingly ill health, the young Nietzsche soon moved to the small village of Sils Maria, where the environment was much more agreeable for him. It was in this small village where Nietzsche would draw much of his inspiration for his greatest works. Presented in the form of a parable, Nietzsche's story of the madman focuses on the title character as he raves within the streets of town. Carrying a lantern, the madman hurries through the street, claiming to seek God. As he is teased and jeered by the lay people of the village, the man silences them with a glance and says one of Nietzsche's most infamous lines. "We have killed him, you and I. All of us are his murderers. But how did we do this? How could we drink up the sea? Who gave us the sponge to wipe away the entire horizon? Do we not need to light lanterns in the morning? Do we hear nothing as yet of the noise of the grave diggers who are burying God? Do we smell nothing as yet of the divine decomposition? Gods too decompose. God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." As the men and women look on in shock and horror, Nietzsche continues asking, "What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent? Is not the greatness of this deed too great for us? Must we ourselves not become gods simply to appear worthy of it? There has never been a greater deed, and whoever is born for us, for the sake of this deed, he will belong to a higher history than all history hitherto." Here, the madman begs his people to understand that having single-handedly murdered the creator of all things, they must now assume its place as arbiters of morality. They must assume the place of God. Rightfully recognized as a polarizing statement of the time, the church quickly branded Nietzsche as an antichrist, and many continue to recognize him as an antichrist figure to this day. However, despite its controversy, Nietzsche's argument was not simply made to overthrow the church. In fact, it was made as a reaction to the many advancements of science and reasoning at this time. In an age where medicine could prolong life beyond the common lifespan, and the positioning of the stars could be stripped of their prior metaphysical garments and grounded in the world of the practical, cosmic deities were no longer required to explain the natural world around them or to justify right and wrong. Indeed, rather than look beyond life and into the spiritual for understanding, Nietzsche urged his peers to look inward and to improve themselves through the growth of culture and the sciences. Altogether, this is a wholly positive outlook on humanity, reflecting Nietzsche's faith in the human potential to overcome. But how, then, should we look to achieve such prestige? Why do we have heroes? What makes these heroes icons of victory? By what means do we find absolute triumph? In Nietzsche's The Gay Science, he posits that man must be willing to undergo absolute suffering should he wish to reach a point of complete understanding. Speaking on the topic of charity, Nietzsche claims that pity is a fruitless endeavor, suggesting that to superficially alleviate another's problems does little to improve their character, while also distracting from the growth of the self. This feeling of pity, however, stems from a much deeper vice. As he states, if you refuse to let your own suffering lie upon you for even an hour, and if you constantly try to prevent and forestall all possible distress way ahead of time, if you experience suffering and displeasure as worthy of annihilation and a defect of existence, then how little you know of human happiness, you comfortable and benevolent people. For happiness and unhappiness are sisters and even twins that either grow up together or, as in your case, remain small together. Here, Nietzsche emphasizes the need to suffer in order to promote the growth of the self. Demonstrating the duality between individual suffering to independent happiness, Nietzsche asserts that one cannot be completely understood without having felt the other. That success cannot be truly known before first enduring the solitude, loneliness, and pain of fundamentally improving the self. As mentioned previously, Nietzsche's philosophy is founded on humanity's profound ability to overcome. However, in order to apply this philosophy to one's daily life, one must be willing to accept challenges and commit to sacrifice. In so doing, individuals are capable of exceeding their limitations and welcoming a much deeper holistic understanding of the self. Additionally, by assuming the place of God as judge of morality, we must also be willing to burden ourselves with the same divine esteem to which we held our Creator, utilizing our culture and the humanities in order to define our limitations.